and he looks perfect. Now I managed to crank out the Punisher in 2 days, which was not my best record because I managed to crank out Iron Fist in 1 day. I also managed to crank out Daredevil in 1 day, so yeah. But overall, I really enjoyed the show. It was definitely a change from all the superpowered TV Marvel shows that we've gotten so far on Netflix, because I mean, the Punisher doesn't have any powers. He's just the Punisher. He just carries guns and drives a van. And that actually kind of made for a really good Netflix show in my opinion, because it was really well done and they really just did the Punisher justice, because he's had like 3 movies and out of all 3 I enjoyed Warzone the most. Anyway, the show starts off not too long after, you know, Punisher kind of runs off from Hell's Kitchen. He goes to take down the rest of the people who killed his family, and then we cut to maybe a year or so later, and he's just Pete Castiglione, his actual last name, because, well, yeah, I actually did a one-on-one video about him when Daredevil Season 2 was coming around, so I'll definitely link you guys to that. Jon Bernthal still delivers a really good performance after like 1-2 years since he was on Daredevil. I mean, he gave a really great performance as the Punisher. Like, he killed it, as he always does. We had a lot of characters from the Punisher comics. Well, besides the Homeland characters, they were just great just for show. But we had a couple of deep cuts from the Punisher comics with Rollins, Russo, and Micro. Out of all 3 of these characters, I'd just say Micro and Jigsaw changed the most. I mean, I don't really know much about Rollins. He's like one of the few Punisher characters I'm not really familiar with, so I can't really say much on him. But definitely Micro and Jigsaw were definitely some of the biggest changes I've seen to a comic character. In comics, Micro is this overweight computer dude who just sits back and helps Frank, like he's Frank's guy in the chair. But in this series, he's like skinny, beard, a family man, and he's going out with Frank on missions. He's driving the battle van while Frank drives a Mustang around. He was really different from how he's portrayed in the comics. Their chemistry was definitely a good part of the show for me. Like, it was some good light comedy, because I mean, this show was dark, but it was nice that they kind of threw in some comedy between the 2 of them, because there's this one part where they were driving to, I believe, Kentucky, and Frank's eating this bag of, you know, that like Miracle Tuna, whatever it's called. It had that blue dolphin looking guy in the packaging. And Michael's just sitting there eating a sub, and Frank's like, "What the heck, dude? You didn't make me one?" And Michael's like, "You didn't ask." And plus we had stuff in the fridge. So it was definitely some really funny chemistry between these 2 characters, and I really hope we see Micro come back for season 2 if there's a season 2. There's gonna be a season 2. Like, come on. It's gonna happen. I mean, Iron Fist and Luke Cage got season 2, and those are probably the weakest Marvel shows. Jigsaw was also a big change from comics, because instead of being this mobster who gets his face screwed by a mirror, he's like this ex-military operator who's also like Frank's best friend, who owns or is part of a private military group. And like, it was definitely a big change from how he's portrayed in comics, but to be honest, I kind of like this way better than how he originally was. He and Frank are like really close friends, so that's gonna be a really great kind of tension point between the 2 of them when they face off, because, you know, Frank, he was the uncle to Frank, because Billy was the, I don't want to say it, but I mean, just Billy was the uncle to Frank's kids, and that's just kind of like really resided me, because it's like, dang, Frank, you're pretty much beating the crap out of a guy who's loved by your kids, and it's just That was really deep for me. Like, that is what I found awesome, was that their history, everything about them was very deep. It was also cool that he was the ex-military guy, because let's be honest, the whole mobster thing has been played way too much in the Netflix series. I mean, since he's a private military, or he's a ex-military guy, their fight scenes and stuff would be a lot more interesting. I mean, Billy had a freaking hidden blade on him. I mean, he was going Assassin's Creed on people, and it was awesome. And I was actually really happy they worked in his origin, or how he became Jigsaw, because in comics he gets his face, you know, smashed into a mirror by Frank, but they did that in the show, but it was way more dramatic and a lot more painful. I mean, just like, my face was hurting as I was watching everything go down. I mean, he like punches Billy into a mirror, it breaks, and he like grabs his head, slams it, like, I believe his left side into it, and then just slowly drags it down the already broken, shattered mirror, just cutting up his face. And then he stops, he does this whole dialogue, and then he just like kicks his face into the mirror again, pulls him out, hits him again in the face with the mirror, and then he does it again. I mean, the comic, it was just a one-time deal. It was just kick, cut up his face, done. But no, Frank was dragging it out. He was multiple bashes to the face with the mirror, and it was gruesome. The action was very Punisher-like. I mean, a lot of gunfights, a lot of gruesome takedowns. I mean, definitely my favorite fight scenes were in a Micro's hideout, and the little Rambo thing he did in the woods with his army buddy. I mean, those were definitely two of my favorite fight scenes, because those felt like they were taken out of the pages of a Punisher comic book. I mean, just with the takedowns and the gunplay, and just how brutal and gruesome and just how forceful he was, just felt very Punisher to me. This show also had a lot of emotion. I mean, it dwelt with concepts like PTSD and family drama, with dealing with the loss of a family member. I mean, let me just tell you, with Micro's family, you were just watching that family fall apart. I mean, just that family, I mean, it kind of felt like what a family kind of goes through when they lose a family member. I mean, like, kids acting up, kids being stressed out, mom being stressed out. I mean, just, like, I can't really describe it, but just, that was definitely one of the really most emotional parts of the show. I mean, we had a guy running around bombing places, yet I was more emotionally invested with the family of a hacker who's just slowly falling apart. I mean, that is just heart-wrenching to me. Is this show worth a watch? It definitely is. I mean, if you love the Netflix shows, then definitely watch it. If you guys want to watch a good political thriller, definitely watch this, because this is what The Punisher is. It's a political thriller. I mean, Frank's trying to like uncover this whole government CIA operation going down, and it just felt like that to me. I mean, it's like it's with The Foreigner, if you think about it. Don't know why I compare The Foreigner, but I did. So just gonna leave it at that. Anyways, if you wanna check out my Punisher 101 video, click somewhere over here, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys later.